Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into a really powerful idea, a fundamental principle, really, that shapes everything from our brains under pressure to our most advanced AI. It's this core concept: structure is our ultimate weapon against chaos. So, let's kick things off with a question that kind of flips everything we think we know on its head. Picture this. The body is under the most extreme stress you can possibly imagine. What do you think is happening inside the brain? I mean, the logical guess would be total, absolute chaos, right? Well, the science tells a completely different story. It's pretty wild. What actually happens is the complete and total opposite of chaos. The data points to a state of incredible logical focus, a startling kind of precision. The brain, when it's facing what should be a catastrophic shutdown, doesn't just fall apart. Nope, it gets organized. It finds clarity. To even begin to understand how that's possible, we've got to look at the neuroscience of those moments when the brain is pushed to its absolute limit. We're talking about states like near-death experiences, or even the deep, controlled disruption of anesthesia. A near-death experience isn't just some subjective, hazy feeling. We're talking about a state of massive physiological disruption, where even as the body is failing, the brain remains shockingly active and coordinated. From a pure processing perspective, the line between real and not real gets blurry, but the cognitive enhancements that can result, they are absolutely measurable, and often they last. So what's happening on a neural level? Instead of just shutting down randomly, the brain lights up. It produces this huge surge of highly synchronized brainwaves, gamma waves to be specific, which we associate with high-level consciousness. Key neural networks, the ones for memory and logic, start working together with this incredible coherence. Essentially, the brain defaults to its most ordered, most efficient, and most logical state to handle the ultimate input stress. And this proves that these experiences aren't just mystical or unexplainable. Neuroscientists have actually measured these phenomena, and they've confirmed that they produce real, tangible cognitive enhancements. This isn't woo-woo stuff, it's actionable logic. It's a stunning display of neuron precision, functioning at scale, even when the whole system is on the brink. Now, what's really cool is that this principle, structure conquering chaos, isn't just locked away in our biology. We actually build external structures to do the exact same thing for us. You can see this dynamic playing out in psychology and art, and especially in our relationship with music. So to get this, let's look at a concept from psychoanalysis called projective identification. I know, it sounds super complex, but the idea itself is actually pretty simple. Think about how listening to a sad song can sometimes make you feel like someone finally gets it. Well, what we're doing is unconsciously projecting our own chaotic, messy feelings into that music. The song's structure then holds or contains those feelings for us. Here's kind of how that process works, in 4 steps. First, we evacuate our messy feelings into a really structured piece of music. The music's formal logic, its patterns, its rules, acts like a perfect container. Then, as the music develops and resolves its own themes, it's actually processing our feelings for us. And finally, those feelings are handed back to us, but in a new, ordered, and manageable form. That external structure brought coherence to our internal chaos. Okay, now let's take this principle to its most extreme and explicit form, the world of technology and artificial intelligence. Because here, systematic, logical structure isn't just a handy tool, it is the entire foundation. It's everything. The contrast here is what's really important. On one side, you have the machine. It represents systematic rigor, iterative logic, and finding measurable patterns. Think about a system like DeepMind's AlphaGo. It achieves functional coherence on a massive scale. And on the other side, you have the polar opposite, unstructured subjectivity. That means emotional chaos, impulsive reactions, and unstable ideas. It's really the ultimate battle between pure order and pure disorder. So if these purely logical, artificial systems are so incredibly powerful, how do we as humans even relate to them? Can we actually connect emotionally with a system that's built on pure structure? A system that has zero lived experience of its own? A recent study looked into this. Researchers had people read a bunch of personal stories. And yeah, the initial results are probably what you'd expect. When people didn't know who the author was, they consistently felt more empathy for the stories written by humans than the ones written by AI. But then the researchers did something fascinating. When they told participants up front that a story was written by an AI, their reported willingness to empathize actually shot up. Why? Well, it seems that transparency provides structure. It builds trust, it sets the rules for how we should engage, and that allows us to connect in a totally different, more informed way. This quote from one of the participants just nails it. Knowing it's AI removes that expectation of it being genuine in a human sense. But that clarity, that structure, doesn't kill the connection, it just reframes it. We can then engage with it as a work of fiction and dive into the narrative on its own terms. The structure of being transparent actually enables empathy. All right, so let's pull all these different threads together. We've jumped from the precision of our own neurons under stress to the elegant logic of an algorithm. So what's the big takeaway here? What's the common theme? The pattern is just crystal clear. Whether it's the brain kicking into a state of hyper-ordered logic to survive, or a piece of music organizing our most chaotic emotions, or an AI mastering insane complexity through systematic rigor, the lesson is always the same. Coherent, patterned structure is the most powerful tool we have to overcome stress, chaos, and disorder. And look, this isn't just an abstract theory. It's a really practical mental model. It shows us that in any system, from our own minds to our societies, applying thoughtful structure isn't about being rigid. It's about creating the right conditions for clarity, for resilience, and for growth. So the final question I'll leave you with is, where could a little more structure help you conquer the chaos?